Hello everybody. I'm so backed up on so many things to do. Got that Wiscombe stock that needs attention. I know that fella is itching to get it into competition. I got web work that's piling up. And then of course just my daily taking care of my own self. I just got back from a run. Had to take a couple weeks off because I had a little bit of a heel injury, but ran the better part of 2 miles just now and felt pretty good. Didn't It was, maybe it was a little tender at first, but we'll see how it feels the next few hours. But made it through the run okay, felt good. So, gotta listen to the body, right? So, here's an HW90 beach, factory beach stock that broke in shipping. As so often happens. Bundle your actions and your stocks together, people. Wrap the action in bubble, wrap the stock in bubble, tape the two bundles together, roll it up in a sheet of cardboard. It's a very effective way. Another good way that I've been toying with, I might start doing, is to build a wood box out of some 1x3 material and Luan door skin. A lot of people ship firearms that way assembled. So that's another idea. But anyway, this one was pretty well packaged, but it looks like it got impacted on its butt end. Those gorillas in the shipping centers, they throw those boxes. I mean, I'd say a good 10 feet, just toss them. When you pack up a gun to ship to somebody, if you were to take that box after you're finished packaging it up and go and toss it 10 feet, would you be cringing? Would you be scared? Would you be like, oh yeah, there's no way it's going to survive? Yeah, it's not going to survive. I can drop kick my boxes across the room, and I have no fear that they're going to be just fine. Anyway, it broke, so it is what it is. We've got to try to figure out how to fix it. Now, I didn't shear it completely, and it's pretty firmly attached. The plan is to drive a wedge in at the beginning of the crack, open it up enough to get aliphatic resin wood glue in there, and then we'll clamp it, and then after it's done we're going to drill a hole down through the pistol grip from the inletting side, and that's another very tricky operation. Very easy to get off center and come out the side of the stock, and that would be ruined. So that'll be fun to do. We're going to drill and pin it after we glue this together. Now in the process of opening this up so we can get glue in there, it is very likely going to crack more, probably a lot more. Not much we can do about it. I mean, this is solid. I could try to weep some cyanoacrylate in there. That's not going to be a great repair though. The HW90, this is a manly cocking gun, so we need to have some strength here. So even if it impacts its appearance even more, oh well, we're going to make it strong. And its appearance is going to be impacted anyway, because there's nothing I can really do with beech wood in terms of refinishing it. My understanding is that these are not stained. This is some kind of a, not some kind, it is an ammonia fuming process that creates this color. And the few attempts I've done and other people I've seen online that have tried to sand down a beech stock and then stain it and refinish it, they look really blotchy. This beech wood does not take stain well. It absorbs it at different rates in different areas and just looks bad. So there's no real way that I can sand this and refinish it like I could a walnut stock with an oil finish on it. So here we go. I sharpened up this old screwdriver. I'm going to see if I can get that in there as a wedge and get that crack to open up. And this is kind of what I like to call Harry Carey. Alright, well, we got it started in the crack. I see the crack is opening up. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of opening there. Aliphatic resin glue is kind of thick though. It's not like water. I think we need some more. Well, it's looking pretty open. Let's see if we can get some glue in there. I think I closed off the nozzle, trying to press it in there. Yeah, it's hard to do. Trying to do some injection kind of action. Do that same routine all along the edges. Oops. I keep closing the nozzle off. We'll wash this with water after we get it clamped back together again. So let me get some glue in here. And I might just try to crack this open a little bit more to provide a little bit of suction kind of effect. Oh boy, let's hope it doesn't break right down the buttstock. Looks good. Let's try to get some more in there. Well, we're certainly getting it everywhere else. That's right, once it's clamped, I'll probably go so far as just hose it off. Yeah, looking nice and messy. Let's try to get some more in there. Well, I'm really glad that Pyramid Air has finally got the 25 caliber JSB pellets in stock. I'm excitedly awaiting for my shipment to come. It's supposed to be Thursday. Go spend some time with that gun. Whoops. Alright, we're making a right proper mess. Oh boy, yeah, we're dripping all over here. Well, just gonna let that try to soak in for another minute. Pop that up there. I just made this new work surface to go on top of my duplicating machine. It's just a piece of 1/2 inch plywood with a couple of 1x2s on the side to engage the rails. But it's nice to have another workspace, because that one over there is still not picked up from when I moved a 1.5 years ago. That one over there has got 2 projects on it that are not gun related. The other bench you usually see me working on has the Whiscom on it. I needed another space, so here we go. I don't know what I'll do after this one. Alright, well, we're definitely, I can see it's soaking down in there, into the crack. I think we're getting some good penetration. Oh yeah, I think this is going to be good. Well, I think it's time to pull the wedge out and clamp and wash it. Oh yeah, easy. We'll just pull the wedge out, no problem. I think it needs a persuader. Is it moving? Don't think so. Oh, it's tight. Alright, we gotta get serious about this. It'll get adrift. I'll do it on this side because it's rubbing against the trigger guard opening. that my hands are going to be in the way of you. Try to get my thumb out of the way. We can do this. Confidence. Be the nail, grasshopper. There we go. Oh yeah, we got a nice, good, messy goo. Alright, see, we get a little clamp, E-clampus vitus on it. Yeah, that's hard. Maybe down here. Okay, that's hard. Okay, maybe up here. There, we got a clamp. I see glue squishage. Okay, gonna take it outside, hose it off, and then I'll turn the camera back on in an hour or so when I'm ready to drill the hole and stick a, not sure it'll be steel or aluminum rod in there, but it's not going to be wood. We're going to make it strong. Okay, there. That's what it looks like right now. I better go hose it off before this glue kicks. We'll see you in a bit. No, you'll see me in a bit. That's hard to say. We're so used to saying things like, see you later, but in this case, you'll be seeing me later. Okay, bye everybody. Hello everybody, sorry for the continuing delay, and I mean that to my clients. I'm just so busy with work and very active in the local political and business scene, and the local Chamber of Commerce is just about dead, and then I got to put on a committee to save it. I had a big meeting last night. I spent half the day yesterday preparing for. But let me update you on what I'm doing on this stock repair. So I used aliphatic resin glue and clamped it as best as I could. Everything's slippery and weird angles, and I tried a bunch of different ways of using a C-clamp that didn't work. It just kept slipping off. I got as good a grip as I could with an Irwin quick grip with its rubber. In retrospect, I was kind of wishing I'd tried some rubber or even some glue on the anvil and adjustable part of a C-clamp, see if I could have got it to stick. Maybe I could have got a little better clamping action with that. Well, in any case, it glued together strong. There was just a few thou difference on the edge of the mating surfaces of the wood that had to be sanded. And while I did mention that I think it's a mistake to try to sand and refinish the entire stock, because for this repair, if it was hand-rubbed oil finished walnut, it would have been effortless to make it be invisible afterwards. But here I had to do just a little bit of sanding to fair this, and that means we have this little bit of discoloration. I found that the Varathane Diamond Wood Stain, Early American is the color, number 2403, assuming this color and number still exists. This is kind of an old bottle. But this color very closely matches the color of Viral factory stocks. And I'm going to continue to apply stain to these little spots and see if I can get it to match a little bit closer. But at least it's not glaring white like it was after I had to sand it. So it is what it is. I don't think it's too bad. And then the cracks back here, they're virtually invisible. You know, really passes the 2 or 3 foot away test just fine. You know, once it's assembled as a gun, and people are just marveling over the fact that it's an HW90 and how hard it is to cock and how accurate it is and how powerful it is. Nobody's going to be really keen on these little discolorations. I think it's going to be just fine. So now the next step is to get a pin in there, a rod. My plan is to use a piece of drill rod. You know from previous videos I do like using inexpensive, and this is a $10 bit. I use these 10 inexpensive extended drill bits primarily for its easy acquisition of drill rod material. Don't have to mail order it. You got 9 or 10 inches of drill rod every day down at the hardware store. So I started first with a center drill, and you see how the hole's going there, and located where it was going to go right in the middle of the valley there. And then I started the hole with a regular sized 1/4 inch drill bit in this case. And the way I do it, I taped a piece of tape on both sides to give me a visual guide, just to help make sure that I don't poke out one way or the other. Excuse me. So I started, get it in there a little bit, drill it in there a little bit, and I'm looking at it this way, that I'm left to right, more or less centered. Then I rotate it over, and it's just impossible to see two axes at once. Go in a little bit this way, make sure you're centered. Come over this way, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the wrong angle. Go in a little bit more, making it be the right angle. Come back over here, oh, now I'm left or right, and so go in a little bit more, holding an angle this way. Back and forth, working it in, until you get this in far enough that it's square. It's going to be straight this way, it's going to be straight that way. Once I got it in that far, I've put some tape on the end of the extended drill bit at about, we're just going to get it down in there, make this thing strong, and it's a little bit scary. Poke out the bottom, that'd be a bad thing. But anyway, let's see how we do. Just going in here a little bit. And I'm going to double check my angle and adjust my angle a little bit as I go. So I'm getting a little bit off there. And that's looking better. And let me just take it out and see what that angle is going to do. It's going to be well within all the wood. So check my left and rightiness, and that's going off a little bit, so just a little bit more adjustment. And just double checking. No mistakes, please. Yeah, I would have liked it to have angled a little bit more aft, but we're definitely staying inside of the pistol grip, so that's fine. I'm just going to angle it a little bit as I go. And another double check. Yeah, we are definitely buried in the wood. Let's clear the flutes of the drill bit. Get the wood out of there. Well, that was squeaky. Almost painful enough to need ears. Doesn't help you all out there in YouTube land though, does it? Okay, that's annoying. I think we're just about there. My tape lines up with the edge of the forearm. So that means that's how deep, let me get a better angle here for you. That's how deep we're going in. Whoops. Okay. So now I'm going to cut the drill rod off with a 4-inch angle grinder. Sorry, my arm's probably in the way. And then we're going to mix laminating epoxy resin with milled glass fibers to give it strength and a little bit of body, and we might add a little bit of silica to thicken it. Yeah, that looks like a great hole. Yep. Recently I repaired a stock that had been drilled and pinned like this from the factory. Don't remember what stock that was. I think it was an old Diana stock, but I'm not sure. But they pinned it with a wood dowel. Great idea. Still broke. This isn't going to break. Alright, I'm going to mark that. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to rough up the steel with the angle grinder. I'm going to take this this blued finish off of it to expose nice raw steel. I'm going to cut some little glue lock grooves in it, just a few little spots. Not that it really matters. It's just like good practice. Why do less than perfect if you're capable of perfection? Why walk if you're capable of running? Anyway. So I will check back in with you when I mix and glue. Okay, so the rod has been cut, cleaned up, washed it in acetone just to make sure it's clean, and ready to mix some glue. I did not bring the resin over, so I'm going to step aside and get it real quick. I'm going to turn the scale on with the cup on it. That will tare it. And now over here, and so we got 6.1 grams, so we're going to do 6.1 on the scale times 1.25. 7.625. 7.6 is what we're looking for on the scale. 7.6, come on. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. You can be off about 10%. If you get it significantly off, just go add another good guess of a dollop of resin to try to get back to where you were. Make sure you watch the digits as you enter them on the calculator, because these cheap calculators are horrible at being consistent with the button presses. We want to use a non-wax cup. I use the Dixie paper cups. If you use wax, you're likely to scrape some of that wax into the solution, and while it probably doesn't matter for this, my background is aviation composites, and well, you know what I say. Why do less than perfect if you're capable of perfection? Okay, so now we're going to mix in some milled glass fibers to give it some strength and a little bit of body. And I'm going to add a little bit of Cavasil Thixotropic silica to give it a little more stiffness. And the only part that matters on the color is the very outer part, which I could fill separately. But I was figuring, you know what, I'll just add some walnut powder into the mix now, and we'll just get a brown. Now, if you find that you've put too much powder in there, you start mixing and you're like, oh no, you can just blow it out. Don't breathe it in. Most of these things settle out of the air very quickly. They fall straight to the ground. You could also set up a vacuum. I've got a vacuum, a regular shop vac that I plug it into a fan control variable speed knob that I wired up to an outlet box with a pigtail coming out of it so I can plug it into things. Well, that was pretty good right from the get-go here. We don't need this to be super thick, so I think we're actually already good. Make some room here. I cut this a little bit short of the hole because there's no way to stick it in the hole and find out, oh, it sticks out a 1/16 inch. There'd be very difficult to pull it back out. Not that there would be no way to stick it in and find out it was too long. So I cut it a little bit short because up there in the inletting, we don't want it hanging out inside, and we don't need to strengthen that area right next to the inletting. And I'm just going to twisty turn it. I'm just going to multiple times shove resin down in the hole. Summertime's on the way. It is a warm day, so that shortens our working time. But I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to do what we got to do. Hello down there. Yep, that's a nice deep hole. Alright. You almost think I'm pretty weird, but actually, it's kind of how I am. I work by myself all the time. I have only myself to entertain. And I find myself very entertaining. Alright, you may disagree. Alright, I'm just going to keep shoving resin in the hole. Now, I don't have the action, so I can't. This is a project I worked on before, and it has been glass bedded, but because I don't have the action, again, I'm going to recut the inletting right here where I'm doing this job, a little overcut, just to make sure that the action is not going to interfere with the glue. So I got quite a bit in the hole now. It might be enough. I'm just going to smear glue all over the steel. Oops. You don't want to hear your dentist say that. Retrieve that little bit of glue there. Put an extra little bit there, and I bet we're just going to have a ton of glue come squishing out of that hole. So, there we go. Hole largely filled with glue, and we're going to stick this in there and just doing a little in and out routine. Just want to make sure I really am shoving epoxy all the way down in that hole. Alright. Dude, it's messy. Got like a hydraulic lock there from all the epoxy down at the bottom of the hole trying to squish up around this. Alright, well, guess I'll get some needle nose and do what I just said a few minutes ago I wouldn't want to have to do. I'm going to pull it out a little bit, shove it in again. Maybe I should have cut it a little bit more shorter. More shorter. Oh yeah, not a problem. A little in and out action. I have to go nip a little more off of it. I know I'm not hitting the bottom of the hole. I'm hitting hydraulics. It's getting down in there. Alright, well I don't want to keep you on while I hassle with this. There, I got a grip on it. I probably could go nip a little bit more off of this or pull it out and try again. Anyway, I'll turn the camera back on when I get it done. Just needs a little bit of futzing with. Okay, so I took it over to the angle grinder and nipped off another 1/8 inch or so of the rod, maybe a little more than that, and it sucked down into the hole. Like I said, I don't think I was hitting the bottom of the hole. I made sure that I cut it short. I think I was just hitting a hydraulic lock from epoxy pushed down to the bottom of the hole that couldn't squish up around the side. And I tried to push it really hard to make it squish, but it didn't. So, nipped a little more off. Not a problem. And now it's just about clean up, pick up, put away. Got a little bit of glue there on the stock. I'll wipe the whole thing down and make sure, but the inletting here is looking pretty good. Yep. Don't want to make more work for myself and have to put it on a milling machine and cut this or something. But I think that looks very good. It's probably not politically correct anymore to do pretend accents. I don't even know what nationality that was supposed to do. Supposed to be. Alright. Yep, that looks fantastic. Let me show you what we got. Let me zoom in a little. I've recessed it just a little bit to make sure the action is going to clear and that there's nothing protruding. And this is a good repair. The stock will never break again in that location. Probably will never break again anywhere. And I'll get in there with a nylon brush and clean up this. Let me zoom back out. I'll get in there with a nylon brush and clean up the checkering. That's just sawdust, sanding dust in there. Yeah, I think it's a good repair. Alrighty, yep, I'm trying to show you. going to be just fine. I wish I had a brush, right at hand here so I could clean this. This isn't the right kind of brush. Oh, here. See. There we go. Hey, maybe this is a pyramid air order showing up. I'll check in with you all later. Bye. Alrighty, just a final look at this project. Try to get it packaged up and shipped out tomorrow. Did maybe a dozen applications of stain over the little spots here where I had to sand, and it's pretty well disappeared. Very, very nearly. You see a reflection there in the camera. That's just a reflection. Yep. Even back here where it was very discolored, it's now pretty well disappeared. Across the checkering, we used to be able to see a white crack going through the checkering. That has disappeared. And over on this side, same thing. There's a little remnant of it visible here, but it absolutely passes the 2 foot away test, and it's going to be stronger than it ever was, ready to be put back in service. If you found this entertaining, please hit that thumbs up button to give me a like. That's a big help. Subscribe if you're so inclined. Comment if you like. Share it would be wonderful. Thanks for your help, and I'm really happy with how this turned out.